He was set apart by God before he was even born. He had supernatural strength that no army could match. And he still lost everything: his calling, his sight, and almost his soul, one small compromise at a time. Samson is proof that your gifting was never meant to protect you from your choices. Before we get into his story, if you have not subscribed yet, this is exactly the kind of teaching we bring you every week. Hit subscribe now. Lesson 1. A calling does not exempt you from discipline. Judges chapter 13, verse 5. Before Samson was even conceived, an angel appeared to his mother and told her the child would be set apart to God from birth, a Nazirite, called to begin delivering Israel. He did not earn that calling, he was born into it, but a calling is not a substitute for discipline. Samson had supernatural strength and a divine purpose, and he still walked straight into the very things he was set apart to avoid. Gifting and calling will get you noticed. Only discipline will get you to the finish line. Lesson 2. Small compromises lead to great falls. Samson did not lose his strength in one dramatic moment. He gave away pieces of his secrets slowly. In conversation after conversation with Delilah, each time getting closer to the truth, each time convincing himself it was harmless. By the time he finally told her everything, he had already been compromising for a long time. The haircut was not the failure. It was the final step in a pattern that had been building for years. Watch the small compromises. They are never as small as they feel in the moment. Lesson 3. Even your darkest failure is not outside God's reach. Samson lost his strength, his sight and his freedom, captured and humiliated by the very enemies God had called him to defeat. He ended up grinding grain in a prison, blind and broken. And yet, in his lowest moment, Scripture tells us he cried out to God one final time, and God heard him. God did not abandon Samson because of his failure. He met him in the very place his failure had brought him. There is no version of your story that has gone too far for God to still show up in it. Lesson 4. God can still use your final chapter, even after a wasted middle. Samson's final act brought down the temple of the very enemies who had captured him, accomplishing in his death what years of strength had failed to finish through compromise. And remarkably, the book of Hebrews lists Samson among the heroes of faith, not because his life was clean, but because in the end he turned back to God and God used what was left. Your middle years do not have to be your final word. If you turn back today, God can still write a powerful ending. Subscribe so you do not miss the next character in this series. And let's keep going. Which of these 4 lessons hits closest to home for you right now? Drop it in the comments. Share this with someone who needs to hear that their middle does not have to be their ending.